All right, up on the bench, finally getting around to the TEAC A4010S reel-to-reel. I've fixed reel-to-reels in the past. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. So what this will do is it will fast forward, it will rewind, but it won't play. So I suspect either a belt is missing or I think there's a motor in here somewhere that may be bad, but I'm just kind of now getting into the service manual. So what I'm going to do is I have to take this front plate off and then see if there's a belt there. If not, I can throw a belt on there to kind of get by to test it, but I'll have to order a belt for this. So anyway, I'm going to go about taking this apart. I will forward through this so you can kind of see what I do, and I am following the service manual as I do this. So we'll see. We will see how it goes. So that's what I'll be doing. Well, the service manual doesn't address these screws. So strike one against this service manual. And then it looks like this is part of the actual plate. So this front cover. Because I was like, well, what about that? And these are just some kind of shims. It's like shims they put in there. I'll just leave those where they are. Now, let's see what we have. Looks like we do not have a belt. We do not have a belt. Oh yeah, the belt is all melted. So that would be a problem. The belt down here is melted, so I need to well, to put a new belt on, I'm going to need to remove this anyway. So I'm going to go back into my instructions and see what it wants me to do to take that apart. Well, I didn't catch that last little bit on camera. It's a little bit of a guessing game as to what they're talking about. You've got to go between the schematic and figure out what they're asking you to remove. So I thought it was these 4 screws I was supposed to remove, but it looks like there might be some bolts on the back that I have to remove to, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this. It's called a casting plate, I guess. I don't know. But this metal like bracket I think needs to come forward. So I think maybe I have to go to the back side of it to do that. So I'm going to flip this up and see if that's what I need to do. So there was a little blurb in there about the 4 screws being on the back. And if you look at the back of this, what is that? Oh, spacer fill. If you look at the back of this, you cannot access anything from the back without taking it completely apart. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm not going to get that on camera because I'm going to have to do it on its side. So I'll be taking this plate off of the back. Hopefully I can get to those 4 screws and get a replacement belt on here. Well, the one thing the instructions fail to mention is if it's in the wooden case, you're going to have to pull the whole thing out. So, because you can't get to anything with this in the case. In fact, I don't know that I can really get to the screws I need to remove outside of the case because they're all hidden. Like here's one of the 4 screws I need to remove right here. Ah, gosh. This definitely wins the award for the worst service-friendly reel-to-reel that I have personally worked on. By far. Absolutely can't even find the last screw. So anyway, I'm going to have to flip this thing around and find this last screw and see if I have a belt. If not, I'll have to order it and just leave this in pieces on the bench. But what a pain. And this is just like my comments on cassette decks. Like, oh, it's just a belt. Yep, just a belt. It's going to be probably 3 hours total. And that's just to replace the belt. I mean, it's probably just to replace the belt. So anyway, looks like that screw is right there. All right, let me get past all this boring stuff. So this belt is melted all over everything. All right. And what I need to make sure I do is keep track of all these 17 million screws I have to take out of here and where they go. So I can put the damn thing back together. I have a feeling that I'm going to get through this and there's going to be some other issue with it, and that is just going to make me really, really regret getting into this one. Jeez, gosh, I hate these things. Dual turntables and reel-to-reels, cassette decks, not my favorites. Not my favorites at all. And I'm just trying to take this apart so I can get to the belt that's on this flywheel and remove it. Oh, there we go. Okay, and this stuff gets all over. It is horribly nasty and gross, and I don't have a belt, so I'm going to have to order one, see if I can find what size it is, or see if somebody just sells them. Because these belts are pretty beefy. And I don't keep belts this large in stock. So I'm going to go find a belt to order it, and while I'm waiting for it to come in, I'm going to clean all this gunk off, kind of re-lube whatever I have to re-lube, and probably pick it up when the belt comes in and I'm putting it back in here.